Today, we're diving into the story of a total automotive revolution. We're talking about a car so radical it literally invented a new word, the supercar. And the craziest part? The whole thing started because of a personal grudge between two of Italy's biggest egos.
So let's just jump right in with a question that completely blew people's minds back in the 1960s. How on earth did a guy, famous for building tractors of all things,
Suddenly come out with this? I mean, look at it. A machine so beautiful, so advanced, it looked like it beamed down from another planet. This is the story of the Lamborghini Miura, a car that didn't just break the rules, it completely tore up the rulebook and wrote a new one. Now, our story doesn't start on a racetrack or in some fancy design studio. Nope. It starts with one single, fiery argument between two Italian legends, a showdown that would change car history forever.
So, in one corner, you've got Ferruccio Lamborghini, a self-made man, a mechanical genius who had built an entire empire from scratch. And in the other corner, Enzo Ferrari, Il Commendatore, the undisputed king of sports cars, a man who, let's be honest, kind of saw his customers as just a way to pay for his racing habit.
Right, so Ferruccio, he owned a bunch of Ferraris, but he was getting really fed up with their terrible clutches. So he goes to complain directly to Enzo himself, and he gets hit with this legendary insult. That was it. That was the spark. Lamborghini, a proud and, deeply offended man, decided right then and there. He wasn't just going to fix his clutch. He was going to build a better car. So while Ferruccio set his sights on building these big, refined, grand touring cars to beat Ferrari at his own game, his young, ambitious engineers, well, they had a much, much more radical idea. Behind his back, working after hours, they started cooking up a secret project. And what's so cool about this is the age of this renegade crew. We're talking about Gian Dallara, Paolo Stanzani, and Bob Wallace. All of them were in their 20s. They weren't interested in comfortable cruisers. No way. Their dream was to bring raw, untamed Le Mans race car technology right to the street. And they had to do it in secret, because Ferruccio had zero interest in racing. And their secret weapon was this, the mid-engine layout. I mean, this was pure race car stuff. You put the heaviest part of the car, the engine, right in the middle for perfect balance and handling. It was so out there for a road car that Enzo Ferrari himself had famously dismissed the idea, saying, "You don't put the cart before the horse." But here's the problem. How do you cram a huge V12 engine in the middle of a car without making it super long? Well, Dallara's team had an absolute stroke of genius, and they were inspired by the little Morris Mini of all things. They just turned the engine sideways. They mounted it transversely. That single brilliant move is what made the whole crazy concept actually possible. So when the engineers finally got the guts to show the project to Ferruccio, he was, let's just say, skeptical. He didn't see it as a real car they could sell. He thought, hey, this is a great marketing gimmick. So he reluctantly gave them the go-ahead, figuring they'd sell maybe 50 of them, tops.
And that brings us to the 1965 Turin Motor Show, where Lamborghini pulled off one of the gutsiest moves in the history of cars. They didn't even bring a finished car.
They showed up with only this, the P400 rolling chassis. No body, no seats, nothing. Just the raw, beautiful, completely radical engineering out there for the whole world to see. You had the V12 engine sitting sideways, the racing-style suspension, this impossibly low frame. It was pure technical nerve. And the reaction was absolutely electric. People were so blown away by the engineering alone that they started placing orders right there on the show floor. Think about that. They were buying a car that didn't even have a body. Ferruccio's little marketing tool had just accidentally become his next big thing. Okay, so this incredible chassis was a masterpiece of a skeleton. But now it needed skin. And not just any skin. It needed a body that was just as revolutionary as the mechanics underneath. The pressure was on, big time.
A bunch of design houses were fighting for the job, but the legendary Nuccio Bertone saw the chassis in Turin, walked right up to Lamborghini and basically said, "I'm the guy who can make the shoe for your foot." He got the contract, and then he handed the most important project in his company's history to his newest, youngest designer.
Marcello Gandini. The guy was just 27 years old. Talk about pressure. He had just taken over from a design legend, and now he had just a few months to wrap a body around the most advanced chassis on Earth. I mean, what an impossible task.
And what he created was, well, it was pure genius. With total creative freedom, Gandini sculpted a masterpiece. The car was impossibly low, just this single flowing curve from nose to tail. He gave it those iconic eyelashes around the headlights, the dramatic front and rear clamshells that opened up like a race car, and those incredible louvers over the engine. It was just breathtaking.
So, with Ganditi's stunning body now wrapped around that revolutionary chassis, the stage was set for the car's full debut. You can bet the entire automotive world was holding its breath.
March 1966, Geneva Motor Show. The finished car is finally unveiled. And now it has a name, Miura, after a famous Spanish breeder of some of the fiercest fighting bulls in the world, which was a perfect fit, since Ferruccio's own star sign was Taurus the bull.
The impact was like a shockwave. This thing was the fastest production car on the planet. Overnight, every single front-engine sports car, and I'm talking everything from Ferrari, suddenly looked like a dinosaur. An automotive journalist, L.J.K. Setright, was trying to find a word to describe this totally new kind of machine, and he coined a term we all know today, supercar.
The Miura didn't just stun the world, though. It basically created the DNA for every high-performance car that came after it. For the next 6 decades, you just can't deny its influence.
So, from 1966 to 73, the Miura just kept getting better. The original P400 led to the more powerful P400S, which added a few comforts. And then came the ultimate version, the P400 SV. It was packing 385 horsepower, had a wider rear end for better stability, and famously, it lost the headlight eyelashes for a tougher, cleaner look.
But really, its biggest legacy was creating the formula that became the very soul of Lamborghini, an achingly beautiful, dramatic body wrapped around a screaming, mid-mounted V12 engine. From the Countach to the Diablo to the Revuelto of today, they're all direct descendants of the Miura.
Just think about it. This was a car that Ferruccio Lamborghini never even wanted. It was born from a petty grudge. It was secretly designed by a bunch of rebels in their 20s, and it became one of the most beautiful and important cars ever built. So the question is, 60 years later, has any car ever really matched the sheer shock and awe of the Miura's debut?